I'm Rob Reiner, and America, we've got a problem. We've been attacked by a foreign enemy power, and our president refuses to defend us. Donald Trump is meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin one-on-one in a closed-door meeting with no aides present and no record of what will be said. Putin's government attacked our democracy by interfering in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump become president. That is not in dispute. It has been verified by all U.S. intelligence agencies, the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee, and the U.S. Justice Department. Trump and his campaign's conspiracy with Russia is the subject of a federal investigation. And yet Donald Trump refuses to meet with Robert Mueller, the prosecutor leading that investigation. Trump said he'd meet with anyone. He told us.
I'll speak to anybody.
But now he's backing out. If he has nothing to hide, why won't he sit down and answer Mueller's questions? What's he afraid of? In light of his meeting with Putin, it's more imperative than ever that we get that truth. Join me in demanding that Trump meet with Mueller and answer his questions.
We have some horrible news right now. TMZ is now reporting that Rob Reiner and his wife have been found dead at their home in Brentwood, California. A murder investigation, according to ABC and other sources, has been opened up by the LAPD, and further details will be made available likely in the coming hours and days. But tonight, this is a horrible, horrible situation. Now, the manner of death is still under investigation. We still don't have all the details right now. But what we do know is that there were two bodies found, one age 78, one age 68. And now TMZ is confirming that this, in fact, was Rob Reiner and his wife. And this is truly a loss for all of society. Rob and his wife were truly gentle and kind people. May their memories be a blessing, and my prayers tonight are deeply with their families and their loved ones. I will continue to provide you more updates as we get information in, so stay tuned for more news soon.
There's so much I could say about this disgusting message, but I really want to get this point across, most of all, is that this behavior is not normal. And I am sick and tired of our leaders enabling this garbage. Congratulations, you all made millions of dollars at the expense of us all. Can you now just go enjoy the good life, get the hell out of the way, and let's get rid of this freaking maniac? Who in the hell talks like this after two people have been murdered? You have got to be kidding me. It will never get lower. It just keeps, well, no, there is no bottom. That's the point I want to make. There's just no bottom with this man. If you had ever contemplated making a message like this, your family would disown you and your boss would fire you in a second. I am so sick of what our country has become because of this man. Just ridiculous.
In case it wasn't obvious, our president is a fucking piece of shit. He decided to make this very gracious post this morning in regards to what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife. I'm not going to read the entire thing that this piece of shit said, but let's just get into the little start of it right here, okay? So a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood, true. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes known and referred to as TDS. Yeah, just so we're clear, nobody has reported that had anything to do with any of this that's going on. Now, what has been actually reported is that the son, Nick Reiner, was arrested last night, and he has a $4 million bail amount set. It was also reported that the daughter was the one that actually came into the house to find Rob and his wife unalived. And again, this is what the son looks like. Obviously, this is still a developing story. There's going to be more updates about what's going on. But in the meantime, fuck Donald Trump and his stupid fucking post. Let's see what actually happens, and let's hope the best for this family as they go through this grieving loss.
I'm just sitting up here looking at these people. It's not a funny situation at all. It's sad, to be honest. But I'm tickled at all these white people that's just so shocked at the man with the dead hands statement about Rob Reiner. Like, what did y'all expect him to say? This man been terrorizing y'all country since he walked on the scene down that fucking escalator, and y'all put him back in there. Like, what did y'all expect him to say? Y'all expect him to be a president? Please. Everybody is complaining. Republicans and Democrats and independents. This is where they draw the line.
So maybe I was living in an alternate timeline, but it feels like just a few months ago, people were losing their jobs for simply posting anything about Charlie Kirk outside of he is the second coming of Christ. And that people were associating his inappropriate, unnecessary, should not have happened death, again, no one should be killed, with rhetoric from the left, with rhetoric from trans people, all the things. After Rob Reiner, mind you, Rob Reiner is a legend in TV, film, as an actor, as a director, as a writer. I'm talking about All in the Family, like prolific member of like the artistic community, right? Much beloved. I have not done a deep dive, my meds are hitting. I've not done a deep dive. What I have seen is both Rob and his wife were unalive, and it's alleged that their son did it, and people are saying that the son has navigated mental health barriers before. Cool. Not cool as in that, but like that's a situation, that's a conversation. The president of our country posts this on his social media platform he owns. And still the fact that no one sees this as weird that he owns a social media platform. Fine, whatever. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away. The only thing that makes him tortured and struggling is that he did not fuck with you. Okay? Together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. Now, it's possible that this syndrome will be validated because you put a idiot in charge of Health and Human Services, and anyone with a medical degree who offers feedback and expertise that conflicts with the narratives and the propaganda you want to perpetrate on our society, y'all get up out of there. But you're literally, mind you again, this man and his wife's lives were taken by their son, allegedly. Child going through things emotionally. What if someone had made a post just like this and instead they replaced it with Charlie Kirk and the child who unalived Charlie Kirk? What would this look like to people? He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals, expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. People are stealing ketchup, adding hot water to it, and calling it tomato soup. Women are only getting married to men so they can have a backup plan. People are doing sex work so they can pay for their health insurance now. Golden age? Yeah, you're building $300 million motherfucking ballrooms. You were broke a few years ago too. Before your sons got 2 or 3 facial films. Release the Epstein files, Donald. What the fuck is going on out here? Can't a MAGA bitch look me in the face and say anything? Y'all are absurd human beings. Erica Kirk is walking around here looking like scary Barbie. Candace, if you had some real gumption, you'd pull up on that bitch. The same way, Candace, the same way you pulled up on Patrice Cullors, the same way you pulled up at Patrice's house, pull up on Erica. Mind you, that interview with Erica Kirk was done by the division of CBS News.
Lấp riêng lấp out, miền đời thế gian.
One of the big three.
Làm sao để lắm
This wasn't
lấp, làm
Fox
sao
News.
hết đi miền đời.
Y'all are
Thì thôi
making
ta
this shit
hãy trái
what
bờ,
people need to be
trái
thinking.
bờ
If they
thơm
don't
lưng
see
tặng
this
người
way
thị
that
phi.
they're
Hãy
on the
như một
outskirts
chiến
and it's
binh,
working.
một chiến binh
It's
kiêu hùng. Mà
just
trận
me
bao
here.
gian khó ta vẫn xung phong
This is
dẫn
the
đầu.
legend.
Hãy như ngọn hải đăng kiên cường. Mặc dù bao
And the
con
children
sóng
are
xô
slow.
vào thân ta vẫn vậy.
The children are slow, so they're falling for it. Oh, no, bitch.
We have an important development at this hour. MAGA Republicans on Truth Social and on the internet are blasting, slamming Donald Trump after he put out one of the most incendiary and vile remarks a president or really any leader has ever put out following the murder of what he thinks is a political opponent, but a murder of Rob and Michelle Reiner, two people who did so much to revolutionize America, American culture, Hollywood, and more. I'm sure many of you now have seen the very horrific and vile statement put out by Donald Trump this morning, seemingly reveling, if not celebrating, in the murder of Rob and Michelle. And well, now his own base is saying, Mr. President, you took one step too far. And at the same time, many in the media are just completely sane washing it just because this is Trump being Trump. I'll never sane wash it, and it's why I need to call it out right now. So make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. Subscribe to my Substack by clicking the link below to support my work. So this was the statement that Donald Trump put out earlier this morning that's now gone viral for, it is, and simply put, a vile statement. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Obviously, Rob's death, Michelle's death, these murders did not happen because of Trump derangement syndrome. Had nothing to do with the president of the United States. And in fact, the son of Rob and Michelle right now is currently booked in an LA County jail facing possible homicide-related charges on $4 million bail. The response to this has been significant and has been noteworthy because even some of Donald Trump's closest supporters on the internet are saying that this is one step too far for them. Now, will this change anything that they do, their support for the president? I don't know, but it is news and noteworthy to see these responses. This is on Truth Social. Terrible post, and I am a big Trump supporter. Take it down. I respect you so much, but this was heartless and uncalled for. You could have just said, rest in peace. Love you, Mr. President, but none of the other stuff was needed. It's very sad that we are living in this world we live in right now. Come on, Mr. President, not appropriate thing to write. Please take this down. It's beneath you. And for every one of these comments, there are dozens more saying the exact same thing. And in fact, some are even going so far as saying, you don't do this, sir. We attacked others following the murder of Charlie Kirk, who celebrated Kirk's murder. We can't be the same. That is the argument that many are saying. But this is a major turn of events on Donald Trump's own Truth Social page. And I think it's not just him and on these Truth Social posts, it's also members of Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is obviously a big MAGA supporter, but not a big supporter of Trump's nowadays, said Rob Reiner and his wife were tragically killed at the hands of their own son. who reportedly had drug addiction and other issues, and their remaining children are left in serious mourning and heartbreak. This is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies. Many families deal with a family member with drug addiction and mental health issues. It's incredibly difficult and should be met with empathy, especially when it ends in murder. Thomas Massey says, regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner, this is inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. I guess my elected Republican colleagues, the vice president, and the White House staff will just ignore it because they're afraid. I challenge anyone to defend it. I do think it's an important time to recognize the difference between how Rob Reiner himself actually reacted to the murder of Charlie Kirk versus how Trump reacted to Reiner's murder today. So let's watch Reiner react following the death of Kirk.
First heard about the murder of Charlie Kirk, what was your immediate gut reaction to it?
Well, horror, absolute horror. And I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's beyond belief what happened to him, and that should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems. And I felt like what his wife said at the service, that the memorial they had, was exactly right. And totally, I believe, I'm Jewish, but I believe in the teachings of Jesus, and I believe in doing to others, and I believe in forgiveness. And what she said to me was beautiful, and absolutely, she forgave his assassin, and I think that is admirable.
That's a very different tone versus the one Donald Trump used on Truth Social today. And when you look at the major media companies, whether it's Fox News or CBS or NBC, you don't see Donald Trump's Truth Social post on the front page. And the reason why is because major media companies are actively sanewashing what this president does. It's just Trump being Trump, many will say. This is just par for the course. CNN has it on, but it's just small, top left. And all it says is Trump offers incendiary political message about Rob Reiner's death. This message is not just an incendiary political message. This is a president of the United States reveling in the murder of an American, the murder of a human being, two human beings. And as independent media, I'm not afraid to say that, because I'm not going to sanewash this. Because if the name at the top was real Joe Biden or real Barack Obama or real George Bush, the reaction would be very different right now in the media. The reaction wouldn't be, oh, it's just Trump being Trump. The reaction would be, this is horrible. This is horrible. And it's a reaction that I'm going to give, because I'm not going to let the media sanewash what happened this morning. What happened to Michelle and Rob Reiner was horrific. And my prayers, my thoughts are with their families in this moment. And I will not stop calling out what I see as a vile and horrific post, because that's my obligation to you as a member of the media. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you soon.
We have some disturbing breaking news that needs to be called out with moral clarity, because Donald Trump has just hit a new low as the President of the United States. Only about 12 hours after director Rob Reiner and his wife were declared dead after being stabbed in their own home in Hollywood, Donald Trump decides to take to Truth Social, not to grieve as the President of the United States, not to offer a sentimental message of value, but to dunk on the dead body of Rob Reiner and his wife, to dunk on the legacies of this Hollywood director, Rob Reiner, and his wife. I personally loved Rob Reiner's movies. I have seen A Few Good Men multiple times throughout my life. It's one of Tom Cruise's best movies in my performance, and I will honor him by watching movies, not by dunking on him like the President of the United States is. This is absolutely despicable, and what Donald Trump says is that Rob and his wife have, quote, a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS.
Yeah, Trump totally could have just sat this one out. Could have totally could have just sat this one out in its entirety. This is a pretty horrific comment that Trump made regarding Rob Reiner and his passing. So Rob Reiner was found with his wife, passed away in their home, and it's being investigated as a homicide. Before we move on, did you also know that his wife, Michelle Singer, is
viết lên thành công vô cùng vang danh lấy lừng tương lai rộng lớn đang chờ tôi ở phía trước viết lên thành công vô cùng vang danh lấy lừng ta muốn theo mây lững lờ chuyện thị phi ta phớt lờ ta sẽ phớt lờ xoay nhỏ lại 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 nhỏ lại thắp sáng khát khao niềm tin nước ao chẳng gì là khó chỉ cần ta quyết tâm thôi mà bạn ơi ta hãy cứ vững tin bước trên con đường mà mình đang đi
gian khổ
trông gai chính là món trang sức tô điểm thành công của bạn trong tương lai và sẽ chẳng có gì cản nổi khi khát vọng của bạn đủ lớn cả vậy nên hãy đứng dậy và bước tiếp đi hãy như một chiến binh kiêu hùng mà chẳng bao gian khó ta vẫn xung phong dẫn đầu.
Whether he's had any recent struggles with this at all, but you can see that was a while back.
This is fucking crazy. You have to read this. I'm going to read it to you. So imagine this in your best Donald Trump voice. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps the never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Trump derangement syndrome is not a recognized mental disorder, and it is propaganda used to manipulate the masses. To use the death of a beloved man to heighten your fear-mongering is absolutely despicable and inhumane, you piece of shit.
Oh, I'd trade mean tweets for this any day. Keep that same energy today, because our boy President Trump, he shit the bed on this one. Rob Reiner and his spouse were brutally stabbed and murdered by their kid. Horribly tragic. Regardless of Rob Reiner literally having serious derangement syndrome about Trump, he was a very talented actor. He was a great director. He was funny. And Trump, with his tweet or his truth or whatever you call that stupid thing. Wow. Be a bigger prick. That's what Trump was. He's just an asshole. It's like he's getting to this stage where, like, the mental filters of him trying to even have any sort of niceness about people that have been so unreasonably prickish to him. He's like, fuck off, man. You caused people to go crazy with your TDS. Deal with it. Basically the tone. Mean tweets are back, baby.
In a move that is disgusting even by Trump standards, he took to Truth Social this morning to revel in the tragic death of Rob Reiner and his wife, writing, quote, "A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump Derangement Syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace." Now, I don't think I have to sit here and explain how suggesting that Rob Reiner and his wife were killed because they weren't sufficiently loyal to Trump is insane, deluded, and depraved. I don't think I have to sit here and explain how making someone else's death about you means you are broken beyond repair. And I don't think I have to sit here and explain how reacting this way in the wake of someone's death is legitimately sick. And don't take it from me. Just look at some of the reactions from his own followers on Truth Social. "Terrible post, and I am a big Trump supporter. Take it down. I respect you so much, but this was heartless and uncalled for. You could have said RIP. Love you, Mr. President, but none of the other stuff was needed. It's very sad we are living the world we're living in now. Come on, Mr. President, not appropriate thing to write. Please take that down. It's beneath you." But the reality is that it's not beneath him. The reality is that it is exactly par for the course. This is who Trump is and who he's always been. He is a one-trick pony who can only attack people because he is a car crash that people can't look away from, and he's benefited from that so much in the past. He is an egomaniacal narcissist who thinks that the world revolves around him. He doesn't have a decent bone in his body, and it's telling that the more people who see him, the less they like him. He's got full control of government and has only managed to watch his own approval rating plummet to the lowest point of any president in modern American history. That is not an accident. It's because people are learning who Trump is. What's telling too is the egregious double standard at play between how the right and left treat death in this country. In the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk shooting, the State Department literally announced it would not allow people into this country who'd, quote, made light of Charlie Kirk's death. Trump vowed to monitor political speech, revoke visas, and designate far-left groups like Antifa as domestic terrorists in response to the attack, despite the fact that Antifa had nothing to do with it. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced an investigation into the reactions of members of the U.S. Armed Forces, as well as subsequent firings and dismissals of those found to have made comments about Kirk. J.D. Vance called for people heard to have made remarks deemed uncivil to Kirk to be reported to their employers for termination. Trump announced that any network that criticized him too harshly could be subject to a revocation of their broadcast license, and that was in light of the fact that virtually every high-profile left-wing commentator, politician, and personality immediately lamented his death. In fact, there was a viral mashup created in the wake of the Kirk killing that showed left-wing figures immediately condemning the violence. Obama wrote, "We don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially his wife Erica and their 2 young children." Joe Biden wrote, "There is no place in our country for this kind of violence. It must end now. Jill and I are praying for Charlie Kirk's family and loved ones." Mehdi Hassan wrote, "Horrific news out of Utah. I hope Kirk and anyone else affected are okay. Political violence and gun violence is never acceptable, excusable, or justifiable." Cenk Uygur, "What happened to Charlie Kirk is one of the worst things that has happened in American politics. My heart goes out to his family. Fuck whoever did this. Not only is it deeply tragic by itself, but we are now all in danger. Violence is always wrong, and it's intellectual surrender." Bernie Sanders wrote, "Political violence has no place in this country. We must condemn this horrifying attack." Zohran Mamdani, "I'm horrified by the shooting of Charlie Kirk at a college event in Utah. Political violence has no place in our country." Gavin Newsom, "The attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form." Even I'm on there. "The Charlie Kirk shooting is beyond horrific, legitimately disgusted at the broken state of this country." And most importantly, here's Rob Reiner's reaction to the killing.
When you first heard about the murder of Charlie Kirk, what was your immediate gut reaction to it?
Well, horror, absolute horror. And I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's beyond belief what happened to him, and that should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems. And I felt like what his wife said at the service, at the memorial they had, was exactly right. And totally, I believe, I'm Jewish, but I believe in the teachings of Jesus, and I believe in doing to others, and I believe in forgiveness. And what she said to me was beautiful, and absolutely, she forgave his assassin, and I think that is admirable.
In other words, even Rob Reiner himself showed the grace that the leader of the Republican Party, the President of the United States of America, is apparently incapable of showing in light of his own death. And yet not a single person on the right who clutched their pearls over the left's remorseful reaction to the Kirk shooting will utter a single word against Trump, because it's not about any semblance of principles. It is about wanting to feel like victims always. And so even when your God King is doing the exact thing that just 5 minutes ago used to be a red line for you, it'll come and go like a fart in a hurricane, because the manufactured outrage only works one way. And that's a recurring theme on the right. Republicans clutch their pearls about states' rights only until they give up the game and prove it was never about states' rights. They clutch their pearls about fiscal responsibility only until they blow up the debt far more than any Democrat ever has. They clutch their pearls about family values only until they rally behind a serial sexual predator as their party's leader. They rail about classified emails only until their side invites a liberal reporter onto an unsecured Signal chat to discuss war plans. They rail against the Democrat president talking to an attorney general only until Trump begins
nghĩ suy tiêu cực, vận mệnh theo suy nghĩ, tâm hồn theo mây lững lờ, gian nan khổ đau chẳng thể cản tôi tiến bước, viết lên thành công vô cùng vang danh lấy lừng, tương lai rộng lớn đang chờ tôi ở phía trước, viết lên thành công vô cùng vang danh lấy lừng, tâm hồn theo mây lững lờ, chuyện thị phi ta phớt lờ, ta sẽ phớt lờ, say dò lại 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 dò lại.
It makes all of us less safe and only creates an environment where hatred and those who espouse it can flourish and fester, and